Alright, boys. Not wasting time editing a fancy intro today because we have a new weapon and this is time-sensitive information, boys. We got the Gammatron 9000, which I'm not even going to put it in the title or the thumbnail. I didn't want to clickbait it that hard, but I'm not kidding when I say that this might be one of the best new ARs in the game. I'm not kidding. Like, it's not top tier, alright? Like, there are some very strong competitors around here, but the Gammatron, having just released yesterday, and the time that I used it in my yesterday's stream, which was 12 hours long, so I would consider myself well-conditioned, has presented itself to me as definitely one of the better options. First and foremost, is a burst weapon. That might bug people. I don't think it's that big of a deal because you'll see the difference on screen right now between fire rate and normal speed. If you put fire rate on it and if you just hold left click, it kind of just shoots like a normal AR. Like, it's kind of just a burst, 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 and you can hold it down, and that's the key thing. So I don't know if that's a bug with all burst weapons in Save the World, but we have tested it on other weapons, and you can just hold down left click, so it basically fires like a full auto. This isn't like a semi-auto weapon, so this might not turn off some of you guys, which would be a great thing to see because I want more people to use this weapon. And as the title and thumbnail would suggest, we're going to talk about the best perks for this weapon. First and foremost, crit rate and crit damage is kind of a must if you have the 6th perk where crit hits cause 7 exploding projectiles. I'll show that on screen right now. There are 2 new 6 perks coming with all of these, whatever you want to call them, these alien weapons, these space weapons. I'm not really sure what they're calling these, but the crit hits causing 7 explosions is, I think, my preferred one. The only thing that is extremely important to note is that these do set off propanes. So if you're using this 6th perk when the mission starts, either don't shoot near trap tunnels or honestly I just put it away because those things go very far and you might hit a propane when you weren't even trying. And then the other 6th perk is causing an expanding ring around a dead enemy, and you can see on screen now how I've used that. Thank you to Ray's, one of my patrons, active in the streams. He plays with us a lot. He gave me his, which happened to have that ring effect, which is kind of better and worse at the same time. It doesn't set off propanes from what I can tell, but it does so little damage that it's kind of not a big deal. I don't know. I think both of the 6 perks are fairly lackluster, neither do insane amount of damage, but I do believe that the 7 projectiles that explode are a little bit more effective in their overall use case, but whichever 6th perk you get, just be happy with it because I think they're both good enough. I don't think one is miles better than the other. One thing definitely worth noting on the topic of 6 perks is that it does have the option to get the plus 1.8 crit rating for 1 second, stacking up to 15 times 6 perk. However, this really doesn't seem to be that good, in my opinion, especially for a burst weapon where you might, at 13.33 shots per second, you might be getting, you know, the full use out of that 6 perk, but upping that crit rating, very different from crit chance, is really not that insane. Like, you might go up to like 8% or 10% more actual crit chance from that, which could be nice. I mean, you definitely might want that, but I definitely think the new 6 perks are not only fun, but probably your better option because they physically do extra damage. That might not outclass how much extra damage you'll be doing with crit rating, but I thought this would be really, really good on the Swan when I leveled it up, and this is one of my only maxed out weapons that I pretty much never craft because it really, really let me down. I thought that it would make the crit chance much better than it did. So you can use this if you want. Let me know if it's better than I think, but I don't personally recommend this as a 6 perk. So moving on to the perks, you can see I've opted for fire rate, crit rating, crit damage. As always, reload or mag size is totally preference, but this thing has a base 45 magazine size, which is about 15 bursts, which is a lot. And recently, this is kind of a personal touch, but recently I've fallen into favor of using Assault Ammo Recovery. If you guys don't have this guy, Stars and Stripes Jonesy is definitely not worth a hero voucher if you haven't unlocked him. But if you were playing during the New Year's event last year, as of recording this, it's June 7th, so this guy might come back in about a month or so here on 4th of July. America, fuck yeah. He gives you a 24% chance to not fire a bullet, basically, or to not consume ammo upon firing, which effectively raises your mag size by 24%. And I consider that 24% to be better than Light Show's 30%, because if you don't know who Light Show is, I'll show him now. He gives you a mag size boost of 30%, which sounds better by 6, but he buffs the base mag size of your weapon, so if you put any mag perks on it, he doesn't get any better. Whereas if you have that 24% from Stars and Stripes Jonesy, that 24% applies to whatever mag perks you have on it. So if you got a Mercury LMG with 400 rounds in it, you might very well be shooting for another 96 extra shots on average. So I've been using him a lot, which means when I'm bursting with this weapon, those 45 bullets kind of stretch out to be 18, 19, 20 shots instead of the normal 15. So it gets a lot better. I mean, that could be, up and down depending on how the odds favor me, because of course it's random, but it is on average quite good. So I've been preferring to just keep it reload instead of mag size. Of course, you can do whatever you want. Of course, you could put 2 reload perks on this. I haven't even seen all the different options. We went pretty instantly for a crit and crit damage loaded on this. If you do want to go fire rate and damage, I don't think that'll totally translate as well. Most weapons, fire rate and damage is almost on par with crit and crit damage, but since we're dealing with a burst weapon here, I think you're best getting the most bang for your buck per burst. So because it's firing in, sequences of 3 shots, it doesn't really seem to make too much of a difference. If you want to go, for example, if you want to go crit rating double crit damage, you could totally do that. But there are a lot of good options, and that's kind of where the title of this video becomes a little bit of a gotcha, because I don't think there is any one best perk loadout for most weapons in this game, but you can see the one I've opted for, and having used a couple of different combinations, I'm definitely not changing it. So in my inventory, you can see I've got my first build of this kit, which is a crit rating, crit damage, and damage loadout. That is pretty okay. It's pretty powerful, I guess. It's not, I don't know, it's not noticeably worse. In game, I found no difference, except for the fact that the fire rate, like I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, makes it shoot so fast that it's a little bit closer to a fully automatic weapon than an actual burst weapon. To me, that's extremely important, but maybe you want more bang for your buck. See, the 30% damage will do more damage per bullet, but on average, I think fire rate's about 14% overall more damage. So it's kind of a toss-up, whichever one you want to choose. And then, of course, we have the one that Raze gave me, which is mag size, crit rating. No, it's basically the same build as this, but with mag size. I definitely did not prefer this. Mag size is kind of unnecessary, like I mentioned, and the reload of 2.8 seconds is a lot. That's much higher than normal. Normal's about 2.4, 2 seconds maybe. So a 2.8 downtime is kind of a long time to be waiting. And because the mag size is so big, I think reload is definitely the way to go. I mean, 1.6 seconds is no time to waste. You'll be ready with a new magazine in no time at all. So hopefully some of the gameplay on screen in this video, however short, has kind of given you a perspective of how this weapon shoots. It's definitely one of the cooler weapons in the set. It has stood up a lot better than I thought. I've compared this to what I previously considered to be the best weapon in the game, the Silent Spectre. I still believe that, to be fair. But comparing this to the Gammatron 9000 in-game, just swapping between them, shooting the exact same power level enemies, I'm not kidding you when I really, really couldn't tell a difference, which is exciting to me. I don't want there to be one weapon that's just best above all, because when I have a weapon like the Silent Spectre that I favor so much personally, it makes me feel guilty to use any other weapon, because I'm like, well, if I know that this one's going to do the job better, why am I even bothering? But not with the Gammatron. I mean, yes, it's a burst weapon compared to a fully auto SMG, and it's a totally different animal, but it definitely has a spot in my new main loadout, and I'm so happy that I maxed out the perks right away. So hopefully that was quick enough. Hopefully that got all the information across. If you have any extra questions, ask in the comments below. Like I said, did a 12-hour stream using this weapon a lot yesterday, so I got a ton of experience, and there's a lot of gameplay out there already. If you haven't got this weapon, you should definitely load up the new update and go grab it. I've heard rumors that this is only going to be out for a week, so that very well might be true, so you don't have a ton of time. And stay tuned tomorrow, or later today, actually, I think, for the Blastatron Mini, because I want to upload both of these videos in the same day. I think this pistol is going to be a lot better than it looks. Speaking of a lot better than it looks, my Patreon and my patrons get to get this special end screen right here, because they pledge $5 more a month and they support the channel, and I appreciate that a lot. So if you want to be on this screen, you should join my Patreon on the link on the screen or in the link in the below. Thank you.